Good morning everybody and welcome to another Magical Moon video. It is chilly outside and the horses are having a duvet day. So Charlie and I are going to take the opportunity to finish wonderful Susan the bear. So we've done everything now. She's been taken apart. From the last video that you'd have seen, she was completely taken apart, and as you've seen just now in the bit that build up to us talking, I have replaced all of her pads very carefully. So she's got nice strong pads now, and the reason I make them nice and strong is because obviously when I've had to turn her back in the right way, because you do it inside out, you need something to push on to be able to turn them the right way around. And these pads are nice and strong, so it gave me that without actually damaging her fabric. So she's got nice strong pads, and now it's time to stuff her again. So Charlie has been learning about stuffing, and he's going to tell you all about what we're going to use.
So we're going to stuff her with traditional kapok and coconut husk. Mum uses this because it's softer than wood wool normally, and it's going to bring her back to life. So. That's
right. So there is the wood wool, the original wood wool that you can use, but I've always found, especially working with older bears, the wood wool tends to poke through, and it causes later life, if the bear's been used a lot, it actually starts to damage them, because when their fabric starts to become quite brittle, the wood wool will sort of pinch over and turn into a point and can start coming out almost like a splinter. Whereas I was sort of wondering what I could use, and I found this coconut husk, and it's the stuff that they would stuff furniture with or beds with, and when you're reupholstering things. And it's worked really, really well because it's lovely and soft, and you don't have that poke through. And if you do get the odd one strand that comes through, you can very gently pull it out, and it doesn't damage the actual bear's fabric. So this is amazing stuff, and I'm like so pleased that I found it. But we've also got kapok, which is a seed from the kapok tree. It's right up your nose, it gets everywhere in your eyes. It's not very nice, but it is a traditional stuffing. And what I do to this is I add lavender oils to the actual, lavender oil has been in the bag, so this smells of lavender, and also we'll put some fresh lavender in it to make sure that any critters in the future, 100 years or so, let's say, because she's obviously been restored and she's going to be fine for the future in our lifetime, just to make sure those moths and things are kept away, because the lavender is really, really good at that. So, and also it's very romantic, and I think having it in a bear is a very special thing. So she's going to be restuffed now, so watch and enjoy, and we'll see you at the end of the video. Okay, so lovely Susan has her limbs all filled nicely with the kapok, and her tummy is going to have in the coconut husk and some kapok as well. But before I do that, I need to attach her limbs to her body, to her tummy again. So that is the next job, and that was done. Nick is my joint maker, and he goes out into his workshop, and we use the back of picture frames. So if you imagine, the wood on the back of a picture frame, there are hundreds out here. So we go and buy the pictures, which are no longer wanted, and we use the back of the picture frame to create the new lovely little joint here. And someone mentioned in the comments about possibly sticking the leather to this joint to obviously give her back her original joints. And the problem there is that obviously you've got the risk of it coming apart and it then becoming an issue, but also it makes the joint very, very thick. And that again will put a bit of stress on her limbs. So for that reason, we can't do that. As much as it was a brilliant idea, and you really did get me thinking. I thought, oh, that sounds like a good idea. But when I looked at it, I thought, oh, I don't know, it might cause a bit of trouble there. So the limbs, the old joints will go back in her tummy. One of them will hang around her neck, but she'll have new joints. So she's going to have everything she had originally. It's all going to be there. It's just going to be hidden away for the next person to restore her, hopefully one day in a few hundred years, to find. So now it's a matter of Charlie is going to learn how to limb her back up again and make something called a butterfly twist on the cotter pin, which is a bit of a knack and a bit of an art, but once you've got it, you're away. So you ready for that?
Yep.
So let's keep going. Okay, so Charlie, what we have here is we have 2 larger pieces of wood, and that is for her head. So we're going to put those over there. And then we have her limbs. So you need 2 for each limb. 2 like that. So that's each limb. And then what we'll do is we'll pop away her old ones because obviously they aren't going to be used for now. But what we are going to use is these little washers. So her original washers are going to go back on, and Daddy made them just so they just fit. So there's no they're not going to be rough or cut through the fabric. So we're going to put them on there. There's one more here somewhere. There it is. So there are her original washers. So she'll have her original washers back on, but she won't have obviously her original joints because they are, as you can see, look, very, very soft. So they'll just go back in her tummy. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is put that cotter pin through the washer and then through one of the joints.
Okay.
That's it, very gently. And then you're going to push that up as high as you can so it works as a joint. That's it. So now the next part is stitching. So we're going to be stitching this hole here together. So to begin with, she had actually the top of her legs, very old bears, the top of their legs were stitched together. So the joint would have been put in through the top and then it would have been stitched up after. But with her, I've created new little holes here, which we're going to restitch because this fabric is much, much stronger than the fabric along the top. So if I was to try and do it the same way and then stitch this up, the likelihood is this would break and it would rip.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is I've sewn this with the sewing machine so it's nice and strong and reinforced it. And then we've created little gaps here, which we're now going to stitch back up. So I'm just going to go and get the thread and you can stitch her back up.
Okay.
Okay, so a little trick of the trade that again, what I found out is it's very hard. If you look here, so let's just take this. So this is cotton, like normal cotton. And it's almost like, if you know when you see in the shop, it's like a cheese slice. It will cut through anything. So if you put that into this fabric, especially as brittle as her fabric is, you can end up breaking it. So if you pull it a bit tight, you end up ripping the fabric. So you've got to be really careful how we stitch her back together again. And in one of my maddest moments, I discovered that one of the best things you can use is dental floss. Oh. The reason being is it's slightly thicker and it's also got a coating on it. So it's a flat, it's very, very flat, and it's got like a coating on it, like a sticky coating that really, really helps when you're stitching up old bears and old fabric because it won't rip it. So it will, I mean, it would if you pulled it really hard. So again, you've got to be gentle, but what it will do is it help again reinforce it. So, and when you can't see like me and you need glasses, it's so much bigger to stick straight through the end of the thing. Look at that, first time. So what we're going to do is we're going to very gently, and I'm going to show you on this one how we're going to stitch her up. So we're going to pop it through here. We leave this bit out. This stays out, okay? So you need to bring this bit down and hold it. You're then going to push it through, avoiding the kapok, coming out a little bit further along. All right.
Okay.
And what we don't want to do is we don't want to rip it. So when you pull it, so we could do something called a ladder stitch, but we're not going to do that with her because I think we're putting it's going to be a little bit too much strain. So we're just going to very gently close her up, literally with a ring stitch. So it's going to go round. Do you see? You pull it in just and gently, and it'll start to close up.
Okay.
So you can do ladder stitches, and normally in young bears or bears that I make, that's what I'd do. But with her, I don't think it's going to be a good idea. So we're just going to very gently go further into each bit of the fabric and work our way up, and very gently each time pull her so she's closed. Okay?
Okay.
Do you want to go over? Okay, so before we actually do it on the bear, we're going to practice. So I'm going to stick a little bit of this in this, what was once a growler. Okay, and then we're going to poke the cotter pin out through one of these holes, hopefully, if I can find it. It's coming, there you go. Okay, so if you imagine now, this is a limb. Okay, so there's one side's longer than the other.
Yeah.
The long side I'm going to show you on one, okay, and then you can do the other one. So you grip it with your pliers and you bend it round and you keep bending, okay? And what you end up with is a tight joint and that shape, okay? So you're going to do this side, and then I'm going to let you loose on Susan.
Okay.
I'll hold it, you just do it. Really tight, you need to hold the pliers really tight and twist. Bend it in, keep going. Bend it, you twist your hand right round. That's it, you're doing good. That's it, keep going. That's it, it will do that. Once you get the grip of it, you'll be away. That's it, and keep going, and bend it right round. Keep bending. Bend in. That's it.
Okay.
Perfect. Right, you ready?
Yes.
Twist it right over. That's it. That's it. Again. Grab the bottom. Twist it in. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Perfect. Stop. That's
Good.
it. And we just bring.
Okay.
Perfect.
And a leg move.
Did it. Now, leg's nice and strong.
Oh.
She's got a movement. So we're at the most important stage of Susan's restoration, and that is she needs her head. So normally I would put her arms on now, but I can't do that because the original holes for her arms are quite high. And the reason being is I've had to stitch the top of her neck closed because, again, a bit like her arms, what would have happened originally, her head would have been put on and they would have stitched this circle here, which would have been an opening, to close it and to hold her head on. But because she's so brittle, I can't do that. So what I've had to do is create a hole through her back. So her original, where she was taken all apart, this is her seam, and I've left it open. So now she's going to have her head popped on through this hole that I've made, and then I can then see where her arms are going to sit to give her the balance, because otherwise you wouldn't want her arms like up really high because obviously she'd have no neck. So we want to put her arms a little lower now, and then she'll be stitched up the same as she has been with her legs on the inside on those seams through her back. So obviously there is going to be, you're going to see it slightly, but it's one of those things, you either do it that way or she's going to be a little bit brittle and it's not going to be quite right. So she's going to have the stitching up her back, but that will show that she's been very, very brave and she's had her operation, and yeah, she's well on the mend. So we're just going to fix her head on, and then we'll pop her arms on, stuff her body, which will be with the coconut husk and the kapok. And most importantly, we need to obviously put in all of her little bits that were her treasures from before. So they'll all go back in her tummy. And also what I'm going to do is, Jill sent us a lovely picture of her with Susan, and I think it's really, really important that that goes on. So I'm going to write on the back that this is Jill's bear and her name is Susan. I'm going to roll it up and I'm going to put it in her tummy. So in years to come, if anyone ever opens her up, they will know who this lovely bear belonged to and who loved her so very, very much. So really looking forward to getting her finished so she can be sitting here and looking at you guys, and yeah, and it'll be just lovely. And then she can be on her way home and hopefully she'll make it back to Jill before Christmas. So yeah, so the final bit of the video. Hope you enjoyed watching. We shall see you very soon.
Bye bye.